You're listening to the oneofus.net podcast network.
Something's coming.
Stand by. Hold on to your hats. Here we go.
Welcome to the ScreamCast, episode 120. I am Sean DeRager, and with me is Brad Henderson.
Silky smooth Henderson.
If you want to call yourself that, I guess you can.
Wait, isn't that what you decided to call myself last time?
I called you that, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well,
See, I can call you
calling...
that, but you can't call yourself that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I'm just kidding. I got a weird echo on my microphone. Hello, 1 2. Test 1 2. Okay.
Sounds better now.
Weird. It's like if I adjust it a certain way, like this weird echo comes through. One of these days I'll be able to afford a actual studio someday.
Silky smooth echo Sean.
If you ever want us to have a professional podcast studio and make it a professional sounding podcast,
donate to the Patreon that you never did.
Buy some pins.
Or pins. There you go.
We got pins over at the ScreamCast.com. You can also donate via our PayPal donations.
No one's gonna donate that. Does anybody donate PayPal donations?
We do have some donors. You know what? Next week I will list off our donors. I've been meaning to do that, and it is greatly appreciated. All of you who have donated.
Donors.
I will list them off. They're long overdue. And we got to kind of keep that up. But it does help the show. It helps
hookers and blow.
Helps with the hookers and blow for
there you go.
Sure.
Doing the blow off the hookers.
The Patreon thing, man. I keep talking about. I can't figure this shit out. It's so complicated.
You keep saying that
because you have to give you give this much, you get this price. I don't got shit to give out. But the PayPal thing, if you guys want to, it's like a tip jar. If you want to donate to the show, fantastic. Thank you so much. You want to buy some mugs. I got stickers and crap I got to put up on the website.
I just see a bunch of numbnuts have Patreon, so I don't understand why we can't have one.
I just don't have time to figure that shit out.
Maybe you need to talk to some of the numbnuts out there.
All right. Anyway, everyone has a Patreon. Everyone is selling pins. We're behind the curveball. We're behind the ball.
Yeah, but our pins are fucking cool.
They are pretty fucking badass. I got my little Oilio banner right here. Can't wait. The
last
ballet one should be coming soon. I think.
The final batch should be out very soon. If you're listening, I haven't received it yet.
Yeah, all of you who have purchased the pins, thank you so much. We sold more than I thought. They did better than I thought they would do. And it's just fun seeing them out there. And we have plenty left. We're not like Cavity Colors. We don't sell out within an hour.
Whoa.
But we do have a bunch. They are awesome, and order those if you want. Enough of this plug-in, this bullshit stuff. I hate it. I really,
Why do you do it, Sean?
Because I'm trying to be better. Follow us on Twitter, Scream_cast. See all these really professional podcasts list all this stuff up. They pre-recorded and they list all of it up front. We just kind of do it whenever.
Is it because no one listened to the end of the show on shows? They turn it off after we're like, we're done. They're like, fuck you guys. We're going to talk about coffee, Grindhouse, Vinegar Syndrome. Brad's going to mention Class of 1999. Fuck you guys.
And Raiders of Atlantis.
Yeah, Raiders of Atlantis. Blackout. No
whatever.
Big deal.
So anyway, all of you who donate to the show, who've contributed to the show by buying our pins or the mugs or whatever,
or even listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank
There's
you
that echo
so
again.
much.
Where's that echo come from?
Oh my god. Can we just move on?
Today we are going to be talking about Burial Ground, one of the Severin's newest releases. Pretty excited to talk about this one.
That's the noise I make when I think of Burial Ground, because I think about tit biting.
We are also bringing back our other segments, Stream, Screams, and VHS. Oh
By
my God.
popular demand.
Hell yes. We'll be talking about P2 and we'll be talking about a movie I discovered thanks to the Splathouse podcast. It's a movie called Street Soldiers. So stick around for that. First, we're going to jump into what's on our doorstep.
Holy cow, I almost forgot.
We'll get the door.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Let me get it, please.
You going to go first?
Put it inside.
Oh, God.
No, I'll let you go first.
Well, like I said, I was on the Splathouse podcast, a little segment, and they were covering Miami Connection, which is, if you haven't seen Miami Connection, stop the show right now and just go watch it. Hilarious. Great stuff. A 80s flick that was lost and then discovered and brought back by Drafthouse. Pretty great. So they wanted me to suggest a handful of films that would go along with Miami Connection. They edited my section down to only 3 movies, which I won't hold that against them. Yeah.
Do we need to talk to Mike Delaney?
We may have to.
Might have to.
No, I'm just kidding. But which is why I wanted to cover Street Soldiers a little later, because that did not make it into their final cut, and I wanted to make sure that movie
gets talked ramble about each movie.
I don't think I rambled too much. It was like I sent in like a 13-minute file. They edited me down to 9.
Jesus Christ, 13 minutes. You're worse than I am.
Really? You said you covered like a shit ton.
Yeah, but I was like thrusting them.
Oh, well, I was like
Billy Ocean.
I edited in some
better
scenes.
Get it while you can.
Yeah, I edited in some scenes and trailers into the mix, so that's why.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Dude. I made it sound good. I made that shit sound good. Anyway, in compiling my list to kind of, suggest some things for Miami Connection, I remembered, Brad, that you had brought up Andy Sedaris.
Yeah.
And I had not seen any Andy Sedaris flicks at the time. I spent $5 whole. And I got
it's a good $5.
A 12-film set called Girls, Guns, and G-Strings.
Yes.
The Andy Sedaris collection. So the movies I watched were Hard Ticket to Hawaii and Malibu Express. And hot damn, what have I been missing? Why haven't I seen these anytime sooner? Brad, why didn't you force me to watch some Andy Sedaris flicks?
You know, I've mentioned it a few times, Sean, and I can't help that you obviously don't listen to me. I can't help that. But I'll let you pass. I'll let you have a pass.
Hold on, my wife heard me from the other room and she's scolding me via text message. You're getting it out of context. You're not hearing it within context.
What was the oh, because of your
because there's G-strings in the title of the set.
Yeah, get it, Sean. G-strings in the title.
Anyway, these movies are hilarious, campy stuff. Hard Ticket to Hawaii has a scene where our main character takes out a guy with a bladed frisbee.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, good stuff. I'm excited to check out all these other flicks on this DVD set. Good old Mill Creek coming through for $5.
That's what I'm talking about, bruh. You just gotta get it.
All right.
Get it. There's also, I think they, re-released it.
They've released, his movies on, a handful of times, I think.
No. They, released another 12-film set as the Andy Sedaris collection that they just changed the title to Bullets, Bombs, and Babes.
See, I wouldn't get in trouble if I would have said that title.
You should have bought that one.
Oh, I didn't know they're the same. I have no idea. This
is
$5.
They just re-released them. Yeah.
But
it's a great set, and there's some there's some great callbacks to each film as Andy Sedaris goes on. But yeah, it's beautiful.
Highly entertaining. Next up, I finally cracked open my Vestron Video Collector Series Blu-ray of Waxwork and Waxwork 2. And I thought I'd seen these movies. I think it's been such a long time. I don't remember them that much. I know for sure I've seen Waxwork 2. Couldn't remember if I've seen Waxwork 1. Anyway, these look incredible. Waxwork is a lot of fun. I had a blast revisiting it, or maybe I saw it for the first time. I don't know, but I had a blast with this thing. Good old Zach Galligan from...
You almost said Galifianakis. What an idiot.
Of course, from Gremlins and Gremlins 2 is in it, so it's always good to see him in other stuff. But a lot of fun. If you haven't seen Waxwork, I highly recommend it.
Can you do me a favor and just say Waxworks?
It's Waxwork. Waxworks.
Waxworks.
It's Waxwork. It's the name of the film. I'm looking at the case right now.
I'm just saying it's Waxworks.
Anyway, this whole Vestron series is, these discs are stacked. There's like an hour and a half documentary on freaking Waxwork. It's a thing of beauty. They both have commentaries. So if you're kind of on the fence about, spending the money for these Vestron Video Blu-rays, they're worth it. And if you're a fan of the film, I know for sure I'll be getting Night of the Living Dead 3. I'm still on the fence about Chud 2. But if they put if there's like a 2-hour documentary on Chud 2, I might just buy for that. Because it's like the care that they're putting into these films is just unbelievable. So you're getting your money's worth for these. They're not bare bones, bullshit releases. They're definitely doing these right. And apparently I read that they've been trying to get this on the ground. Like a few people over at Lionsgate have been trying to get this off the ground for like the past 2 years. And the executives at Lionsgate kept saying no, because they're like, no, it'll never sell. It's not worth it. And I'm glad that these whoever was pushing for this finally kept on pushing, because it's paying off, I believe.
Get it.
I read that Chopping Mall is their bestseller so far. It's been doing gangbusters.
Yeah.
All right.
Gangbusters. Damn, Sean.
Yeah. Watch out. I'm using some.
No, it's funny because it's waxwork, but it sounds so weird when you say it.
It's Waxwork, and then Waxwork 2 Lost in Time, which I
understand.
I know Waxwork 2 gets bonkers.
Maybe it's just how I say it.
It's just how you say it.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're putting like a hard stop. You're like, Waxwork. That's all I hear.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, and finally, this was a timely flick that I saw. It's new. It just came out, and it stars Daniel Radcliffe and Toni Collette. It's called Imperium. Some people saw this at some festivals or something. It got kind of middling reviews from there, but I know that on Rotten Tomatoes it had a decent score. I don't know. But this is about Daniel Radcliffe plays an FBI agent who goes undercover to infiltrate some little white supremacist cells in order to try to find, because there's rumors that they could be building, bombs and trying to do some sort of terror attack to kind of model after like the Oklahoma City bombing or something like that. So he goes undercover to try to find out which group is doing it, and it's kind of on the nose in dealing with this whole white supremacy thing, but there's a lot of like montages of like Nazi Germany and things like that, when they're trying to explain like each of these groups, because there's different factions. There's like the neo-Nazi skinheads. There's like the people actually kind of want like a Third Reich. They wear the uniforms and they're on a compound. And then there's more of kind of like the alt-right type people, which is in the news, very timely right now. But more like families, soft-spoken people who are just believe, this certain way in this white power. And I don't know, I've found all those aspects of the film like very cool and very, like I said, just with everything that's going on right now with this crazy election passing and all the bullshit that's going on. It was very interesting to see these different types of, of white power. 'Cause you just think of kind of like the Nazi skinhead type guys, but it was interesting to see that there was, as you get in deeper, there's people who are in, they have regular jobs in politics and in the communities, and they have these beliefs and they're fighting for these beliefs in their own way. So Danny Radcliffe, always pretty solid. It's kind of weird. He does a very strict like English accent or American accent. So he's so like British that it's kind of hard to take him, with that accent, but he does a good job. Like, I think it's a really good flick. It's not this like nail biting thriller that I think the trailer tried to sell it as. It's more of a drama, more like about how someone can get really sucked into this type of, these types of groups and believe these types of things. Like, it really, for me, like it really kind of explained, a lot of that. Sometimes a little too on the nose, but I dug it. Small, little, kind of independent, I guess, thriller, but for me it was more like a kind of a, crime drama. So check it out if you're interested in that. It's called Imperium. So it's probably going to be, it's one of those, it'll be on Netflix or something like that. Easy and cheap to rent. Easy. That's like, that's like me. Easy and cheap. Especially as we near the holidays. All right, man.
Well, I had a movie that I forgot to talk about last show. Probably thankfully, since it went over for so long. But I actually ended up watching, because of my family, I had no interest in it, really, was Independence Day Resurrection, or Resurgence, right?
Yeah, you're bringing this up. Okay, well, I watched it too.
Yeah, this is probably, I'll simply say it's one of the worst things I've ever watched. It's a total piece of shit.
I actually really dug it.
You would. Because
I don't know.
No, it's literally probably the most inept thing I've seen in the longest time. And I'm sorry if you like that. If you like this movie, you're just a complete fool.
Well, for me, it's like it's a sequel to Independence Day. Like Independence Day is hokey as hell.
Well, yeah, it's hokey as hell. But there was like something for everybody to latch onto, no matter who you were. And I've never been a huge fan of Independence Day because I thought it was goofy from the start. Mm-hmm. But this piece of shit, dude, it is insane. Like I felt like I felt like the filmmakers were fucking with us. Like I really think they were like, well, let's see how stupid we could actually really get. And see if people will actually watch this piece of shit. And people did. Like, it's really, like, it's one of, like, I would say it's the worst movie I've seen in a long, long, long time.
Wow. I just had fun with it, man. I don't know.
There's no fun. There's
really?
no fun. There's absolutely no fun about this movie. There's no fun to it. Like, I mean, literally,
The futuristic stuff is cool. They use the alien technology to, like, make their moon base, and
all right,
they have all the spaceships and the guns. There's some 10-year war that we never saw in, like, Africa.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
It was stupid, but I just totally went along with it. I watched it with my kids, and they were into it because they liked the first one. I don't know, man. We had a fun family time with it. It's stupid as shit.
My family absolutely hated it.
Wow.
And I actually, Janice, like, usually this is what happens, is that if we're watching something stupid, Janice, I usually look over at Janice and then she catches me looking at her and she goes, don't. Because she knows I'm going to say something snarky, like I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to ruin her movie experience, which I try not to do. But I caught ourselves looking at each other probably for half the movie, like, looking at it and just trying to decipher, is this real? Like, even after it was over, I felt like I just sat there as like, wait, like, did I just witness? Like, what did I watch? Like, I was really puzzled. And this is one of the first times this has ever happened to me.
Come on, they got the big Godzilla-type mother alien, that's inside a bigger mother alien as it's running across the desert.
Sure. It's the worst thing I've seen. And I've watched a lot of not that great movies this year. And this is by far probably the worst of the worst.
Wow. I didn't think it was that bad. I don't know.
No, it's truly a piece of
sci-fi popcorn entertainment.
No. No. There's way more dude, there's so many great movies out there that this movie doesn't even deserve to be made.
Wow.
It doesn't even deserve to be watched.
All right.
Now I can safely say that because that movie made its fucking money, and they're going to do a fucking third one with one of the worst, dumbest fucking endings to Resurgence. When they're like, "Oh, we're going to go get them now." Yeah. Okay, go have some fucking fun. I'll sit at home and watch something not good.
All right. Hey, it's fine, man. Agree to disagree.
And then the next film that I watch. That Janice really liked. We did she was recovering from some surgery, so my days at home I spent watching a lot of films with her. Stuff that I wanted to watch, stuff that she wanted to watch, stuff that both of us wanted to watch. So we got around to watching The Legend of Tarzan, which is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's not great.
It's on my to watch list. Is right here sitting next to me.
You bought it?
It's $14. I couldn't help myself.
Jesus Christ. Hey. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had no idea Samuel L. Jackson's in it, which is something I need to...
That's what tipped it over the edge for me. I was like, God
I just
damn.
need to think I'm going to watch this movie. Samuel L. Jackson is going to show up at some point in the film. But it's okay, but don't, worry about it.
I'll probably love it because I liked Independence Day Resurgence. I'll probably think this is the greatest thing ever made.
You're going to love Legend of Tarzan. You're going to love the ending. Jesus. And then, of course, with Willow, I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. I don't know if I mentioned... Did I mention that last time? I don't remember. I
thought maybe someone did.
It's whatever. I mean,
I may have.
The first one.
It's all right.
And then did we talk about Star Trek Beyond?
No. You told me you watched it, but we haven't talked about it.
Oh, dude, Star Trek Beyond is the shit.
It's awesome.
Dude, I was a huge fan of Star Trek. I'm not even I'm talking about the film. I don't really care about the older movies. Those don't appeal to me. I'm not I don't really care. But, J.J. Abrams was making it. Chris Pine was in it. It had a good cast. So I went to go see Star Trek when it was out in theaters, and I fucking adored it. When Star Trek Into Darkness came out, I didn't make it to the theater because it was just one of those times where, you miss something. But when it came out on Blu-ray, I watched it. I fucking loved it. Even though people were kind of like, I was still a big fan.
Into Darkness? I thought
it was great. Yeah. But Star Trek Beyond is just so fucking good.
I feel like they're finally able to have fun, and that's
dude. This movie is a fucking blast. And you want to talk about fun, dude? Now this is fun.
No, this is inherently way better film than Independence Day Resurgence.
Dude, watching paint dry is better than Independence Day. But Star Trek Beyond, it's goofy, it's funny as shit. It's got great characters. It has wonderful chemistry. It has plenty of different stories going on. The movie's got so much. It's got a great villain. It has a cool, new, I forget her name now. But anyways, the warrior that they
she's awesome.
She's fucking great. Dude, when they play fucking Sabotage and just rip fucking shit up, it's so good. I loved it. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it because it's popular, so I won't spend too much time on it. But anyways, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Next up, I believe BJ talked about this a while back, but I was going to reiterate. I got around to watching... I I say I can't even say it. Gatsby. I say Gatsby, but I guess it's Giuseppe, which sounds better. So I watched Giuseppe Makes a Movie, which is an Adam Rifkin documentary. Adam Rifkin directed it, of course, about, here I'm going to say, Giuseppe Andrews, who is a very, very familiar face. We talked about Independence Day. He's in that. He was in Cabin Fever. He plays the cop. He was in Detroit Rock City. He plays Lex. Just a very familiar face. He worked on a Diane Keaton movie. He's been around. He's been around the block a few times. Well, anyways, this documentary is about him making films. He's been a filmmaker for many years. Just making. He kind of abandoned everything because I guess he got burnt out in the limelight. There, is that what you call it? Limelight, whatever. Yeah. So he kind of got. It seems that he got burnt out. He didn't like go downhill or anything like that, but it looks like it from the outside because he moved into a trailer park. He basically before he moved in the trailer park, he met this guy named Ed, who they spent a good portion of their life together. Ed's older, he's retired, he used to be a guitarist for the Bee Gees, and now he just has a bunch of fucking money, and he produces, Giuseppe's, films. And so he just makes these wacko films, really great, but he hires, homeless people. And it's not like exploitive or anything like that. He is friends with these people. He uses them on all his movies. They're reoccurring actors. So we follow Giuseppe making this film called Garbanzo Gas. And the documentary is about his, this is like his 13th feature or something like that, making a film called Garbanzo Gas. From start to finish, he's going to film it in 48 hours. And he said he's going to edit it and complete it that night. So it's about his meeting these people. It's very invasive, but like I said, it's not exploitive at all because he's not making fun of these people. He's not using them because they're wacky. Like, these people legitimately want to be actors and love doing it. And, he gives them some meals and some beer and they have a good time. And these are literally his friends. They're, like I said, it's not any means where he just goes around picking up homeless people and it turns into some bum fight bullshit. No, he legitimately cares about these people. There's even a part. It's gross, but it also shows how much it means. Is that he has one guy, Tyree, who's fucking in his 80s or something, and he keeps shitting his pants during his scenes, and Giuseppe takes him in the bathroom and cleans him up, and he's like, man, don't worry about it, it's cool, and he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, no, man, fuck it. He's like, it's cool. You're here, you're hanging out, you're making the movie with me. It's fucking cool. And what I love about the documentary too is it's so normal. It's on such a normal plane because not every time, but a lot of times when you watch a documentary, it's like event after event after event. And it's like, wow, you live a really exciting life if all this shit's happening to you. And it's all a setup. It's just a setup to make the person look better, make it funny. This is just on a normal plane. There's nothing outrageous that happens. There's one crazy part that happens, but it's totally believable. And I love how this is just a normal life of Giuseppe over these 2 days, and how intimate it is with him and his work. It's truly a spectacular documentary. Definitely in my top 10 of the year. Hands down, just such a fucking great doc, great movie, very charismatic people. I mean, Giuseppe is just, adorable. He really is. He's very sweet. He's so down to earth. Yeah, he's a little, cuckoo at times, but I mean, he's, Garbanzo Gas might not be, Independence Day Resurgence or anything to you, Sean. But, he's making movies that he's really passionate about. They're goofy. Garbanzo Gas is about a cow who gets an all paid expense trip in a hotel for 2 days before he has to go to the slaughterhouse. and he has like a bum dress up in a cow outfit, and then he's in this hotel room, and all this shit goes crazy. And Cineless just put this film out. The team that brought out Belladonna's Sadness that I talked about on the last show. They put this out. Garbanzo Gas is a feature on the disc as well as of course the documentary. And it's stacked with special features, stacked with interviews. They're all like everything about this, the whole entire package is just watchable over and over and over again. And after I watched it, I showed it to a bunch of friends, and I was like, you guys are going to fucking love this shit. And everybody was just like all over it. And I was just so happy that I wasn't the only crazy person. Because, I mean, obviously there is some kind of cuckoo stuff that's happening in the doc and, his life. But it's just beautiful. Like, Adam Rifkin has always been one of my favorite directors. And I'm a little biased when it comes to him, of course. But, it's so much not an Adam Rifkin joint, because it doesn't feel like that at all. Because you don't even feel like Adam Rifkin's there. It's just feels like a floating camera. Like, Giuseppe's not even doing anything for the camera. Like, he tells the camera what he's doing and what he's going to do. But when he's on set talking to his people, he's so focused in the filmmaking process, the camera, you don't even feel like, anybody's there, like a documentary crew. And I imagine it's just fucking Adam Rifkin with a DV camera sitting in a corner. It's so great. You watch it. It's so charming. Everybody's charismatic. It's just such a great piece of work. So, go see it. And you'll actually get to see, Giuseppe has a few songs in this, and dude, the guy is he's got some hits. His music is really fucking good. But anyways, go watch it. Trust me. It's definitely one of the best things you'll, see this year. And then I watched All Through the House, which is kind of an independent slasher Christmas Santa killer thing that just came out. Jessica Cameron's in it. Sadly, she's only in it for a little bit. They should have put her in the whole entire movie, in my opinion, because the guy cast his wife in this, and it just seems like she got the job because it was his wife. No, I don't mean no slam anything, but it's a little on the goofy side of, not silly, but it's just not well put together. A lot of scenes, and I don't mean to nitpick, which I am. A lot of scenes they didn't even know how to fucking light, so they just shine a light on the actors, like a fucking flashlight. And that takes me out of a movie. If you, I understand lighting might not be all that great, but when you don't know how to fucking light a scene, so you just put a spotlight that's from your camera on your actors and they're blinded and they're squinting, you got a fucking problem. However, it's a Santa killer Christmas thing. It has its moments, but, there's a lot of dick mutilation. So that might be your thing. Huh. But anyways, moving on. Next up was Under the Shadow. Now, this film got a lot of buzz at festivals, and I see why. It's definitely a decent flick. It's a story about a Middle Eastern family where the father is, he's a doctor. His wife is studying to try to be a doctor. She kind of gets booted from her school. Then the father is recruited to go into war because it's obviously set, in modern times a few years ago. So he is drafted and he goes away. And the mother is depressed because she obviously can't go to school. Taking care of their young daughter who keeps saying that she sees something in their apartment. And she's also scared to death because bombs might drop on them. But she stays behind with the tenants and they encounter, something supernatural. It has some great moments. It has some great scares. It's very well done, very impressive, and I suggest that you watch it. Can't really go into much more detail because obviously you kind of give stuff away, so I'll leave it at that. Next up was The Pack. Scream Factory IFC released this about a pack of wolves that attack a family. Spend your time and watch The Breed instead.
There you go.
I love The Breed. The
Breed's badass.
I was not a fan of The Pack, and we're not talking about the Joe Don Baker film from the 1977. We're talking about the modern one that's really slow. And what I actually did end up watching that I really, really liked for a found footage movie, I haven't talked about found footage movies in a while, just because they're in abundance and they're not very good for the most part. I watched Hell House LLC, which is about a group of, haunted house people that, they rent out an old abandoned inn and they turn it into a haunted house. And the documentary follows 28 days of them setting up this house and then encountering, supernatural spirits. It's really well done. It's extremely effective. There's some fantastic scares, like legitimate frightening scares. They don't, blow its load all at the end. They started in the very beginning trying to freak you out. They do a goddamn good job. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and I almost gave it 4. Almost 5 if they would have shined at the end. I just wasn't a fan of how the climax. However, it doesn't hurt the film. It made me like it a little. It wasn't a 4 or a 5. But of all the found footage movies I see in a year, this is definitely one of the better ones. So definitely check it out. And then I got around to watching, I talked about this film before. I got around to watching, however, the extended cut, A Suicide Squad. And just for people to know, there's not much to it as far as extended cut. It's 2 extra scenes. The 2 scenes are great because they basically are very much character building. However, it's the exact same movie. No extra shit other than 2 extra scenes. So don't give your hopes up.
I really think there's a director's cut out there. Maybe even never got to that. I feel like
I don't know, man. It's odd. And next up, I got around to Orson Welles' The Immortal Story, which was something that I always heard about because this is it's a 58-minute feature from Orson Welles. It was meant to be kind of a first. It was the first part of kind of a 2-part anthology that Orson Welles was trying to do. The second half, because of funding and all this other bullshit, he kind of closed down the deal. He basically had this love for this lady, Karen Blixen, who he became obsessed with her work and wanting to make films out of her work. And so he took this, basically this poem, short story poem that she wrote and made his film out of it. And then he was going to use her other works to, basically make this, anthology of her work as far as features. And this is, this was his step into French cinema. It was made in France. It was premiered on television, and then later on went theatrical, which I thought was pretty interesting. Who Orson Welles was. His movies are being debuted on television and going to theaters, and he wasn't super proud of it because of everything that happened behind it. However, it's not a bad film by any means, and so I don't think Orson Welles was meaning that it was terrible. I guess he wasn't happy with the end product and kind of everything that followed him trying to make this, like I said, this anthology of one of his beloved writers that he loved so much. It's kind of a slower story. Orson Welles plays this man, Mr. Clay, who is who's told about this kind of this peasant guy. He's Jewish, but this peasant guy tells him of a story about this basically this woman that this couple he's allowed to impregnate this woman for a trade. So he wants to kind of live out this story. So he has someone try to find a man and a woman to kind of live out. It's not even really a fantasy, but just part of this whole plan. And he ends up picking a woman whose father was one of Clay's ex-employees. And it kind of turns into events because she knows who he is. Kind of interesting, a little bit sexy at times. I was reading that Orson Welles was not a fan of the cinematography or the color, and I thought it was great. I thought the colors were vibrant. I enjoyed the cinematography. It's very misty and very dark. And it just fits with kind of the story they're telling as well, because it is kind of twisted, but it's presented in such a way where it's not as dirty or, as crazy as it actually sounds. It sounds like, something really crazy, but it's not. It's presented in such a way where it's, very much just kind of a straight drama. So if you're into Orson Welles, definitely check it out. I think any Orson Welles fans will enjoy it because he has a really, really interesting career. And then last up is I was super excited to actually watch this. This is one of the films I haven't seen by Takeshi Kitano, but Film Movement has released 2 Takeshi Kitano films. His first film, which was Violent Cop, which I'm a huge fan of, and then Boiling Point, which I've never seen, so I jumped right on this quickly. If you don't know who Takeshi Kitano is, you might want to look that up. He is a fantastic director. He's a great actor, but his directing skills are top notch, and he was obviously a huge inspiration for me because he can just look at the camera. He can have a scene that's just very small but so heavy hitting because he's just like, I don't know, he's very intimidating, and he's intimidating on screen. He's intimidating behind the camera. But Boiling Point is about a baseball team that basically focuses on 2 baseball players who kind of like, just live normal lives, who really don't give a fuck about anything and play baseball, go to work. And their boss is threatened by the Yakuza from kind of a fault of one of the baseball players, the kind of our lead character. And to seek revenge, they head off to Okinawa to purchase guns from a gangster who turns out to be Takeshi Kitano. And they kind of dive into the criminal world and learn about Kitano's, past and his history and what he's planning on doing. And they're just there to buy guns. And don't think this is some big action movie because Kitano's not about a lot of action. He's more or less about kind of just intimidating, subtle scenes. If you ever watch a Kitano flick, you'll know he'll just have a scene where, like in a film called Sonatine he directed, he just shoots a guy that's in a chair, and then he just stares at him, and the camera doesn't move. It just stares at Kitano, and Kitano's just kind of looking at the dead body for almost a minute. Doesn't say anything, doesn't move, just looks at him. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's boring." It's something about Kitano's presence on the film, or like I said, in the film and behind the camera. He just gives this just weird vibe. Man, this is it's chilling, is what it is. And that's kind of how Boiling Point is, because he's kind of over the top. in Boiling Point, like to the point where, you know, he has like one of the gangsters like sleep with his girlfriend, and then he like beats the shit out of the gangster and his girlfriend because he's like, you fucked my girlfriend, now I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know, and they're like that too. They're like, what the hell? You told us to do this. And he's like, you know, fuck you. And he starts just beating the shit out of people. And that's kind of how the whole film is. But he's really heavy hitting. He's a great director. I would definitely track down his work. So I was really excited to watch Boiling Point, and it just, like, I loved every minute of it because I just like that, you know, that presence, like I said, on screen that Kitano gives. It's just so intimidating. You know, he's just so mean looking. And then, you know, you find out he's from Most Extreme Challenge. Even though he's not playing a joke in there, it's just the voiceovers are funny. But he's a really, I mean, everybody will know Battle Royale. He's the announcer in Battle Royale. And just that, you know, character alone, how he just doesn't really give a shit. You know, he's fucking killing students. He's, you know, announcing like, hey, this is great. Everybody's having a great time. Let's kill each other. That's kind of how he is in general. Through his films. He doesn't have any emotion on his face. He's never scared. He's never happy. It just looks like he's just planning on hurting you. And that's what I love about him. And I think it's great. And he directed and edited this in this film. This is a second film. And he's just top notch. He's a great director. So definitely check it out.
Nice.
And I think that's it. That's it, man.
Oh, by the way, I watched Lights Out. Forgot to mention that.
Ooh, I mentioned that.
You mentioned it. You're a little nicer about it. You actually recommended it. I think it's a brilliant concept with a bullshit script and some horrible characters. That's it. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I don't expect a lot of people to like it. I think it's an effective horror film for what it's trying to do.
Yeah. Great. I mean, God, the idea is fantastic. The beginning of the movie is pretty great, and then it kind of devolves from there a little bit. But
I love the gags. I think the gags are great.
All right.
So what we got next, Sean?
Let's move into news with Josh Obershaw, and we'll be right back talking some Burial Ground. Josh Obershaw, what's up, man?
Oh, so full. And it's not even fucking Thanksgiving yet.
There's a lot on our collector's plate. That's for sure.
I know. And not enough money to grab all this.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, there's one that I'm really, really excited about that I want to go into really quick. It comes out on December 13th, and that's the Creep Show limited edition from Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing is packed. I mean, we've got not only a 2K restoration, but there's uncompressed audio, of course. Plus, you got the 5.1 surround audio option. There's a limited edition booklet entitled Creep Show 2 Pinfall. This features a never-before-seen comic adaptation of the unfilmed Creep Show 2 segment Pinfall, and it's drawn by artist Jason Mayo, which I'm not too familiar with the unfilmed segment, so I'm very, very curious to know more about that. There's also an audio commentary with director Michael Gornick, Poncho's Last Ride, which is a brand new interview with actor Daniel Beer, The Road to Dover, a brand new interview with actor Tom Wright, screenplay for a sequel. This is an interview with George Romero. Tales from the Creep is an interview with Tom Savini. Nightmares in Foam Rubber. This is an archive featurette on the special effects of Creep Show 2, including interviews with effects artist Howard Berger and Greg Nicotero. Plus, we also got My Friend Rick, which is Howard Berger on his special effects mentor, Rick Baker. There's behind-the-scenes footage and image gallery, trailers, TV spots. There's also another collector's booklet, which features new writing on the film by festival programmer Michael Blythe. Now, there is a special edition version of this same release, too. The only things that are missing from that are the comic adaptation of Pitfall and the collector's booklet. But yeah, wow.
And I don't
That's
think
some
it's
good
that.
stuff.
If you can lock your order in, I don't think it's that much more expensive. I mean, it's basically like you're paying for the extra comic book, right? So it's not that much, not that crazy. You know what I mean?
No, I think
the
it's
difference.
No, I think the difference is only like a couple of bucks. So
yeah.
So I'm definitely going for the limited one if I can get my hands on that.
Yep.
Cool. Speaking of Arrow, we actually have their lineup for the, February. And in addition to We Are the Flesh and what else? We got Tower of London. We also have the I think this is the original Japanese version of Pulse.
Yes.
Yeah. Filmmaker Kiyoshi Kurosawa. That's going to be a UK-US release. But the one that I really want to mention that's coming out, I believe this is also... Oh, yeah, this is a US-only release. It's for Psychomania.
Yes.
Here's a synopsis. For those of you not familiar, let's see. The Living Dead are a delinquent biker gang fond of causing havoc on British roadways and making out in graveyards. Gang leader Tom also has a Satanist for a mother, and when he discovers the secret of immortality, the name of his motley crew takes on a more literal meaning. The special features, and there's plenty of those to behold. There's a 2K restoration, the original mono audio, English subtitles, a brand new interview with star Nikki Henson, an archive featurette called Return of the Living Dead containing interviews with actors Henson, Mary Larkin, Dennis Gilmore, Roy Holder, and Rocky Taylor. Sound of Psychomania, an archive interview with composer John Cameron, and a whole bunch of other stuff too. I mean, this is definitely one to look out for if you're a fan of that movie. So and let's see, the specific release date for that is February 21st.
Sweetness.
So moving right along. Oh, let me just narrow down this one. Okay, for those of you who missed out on previous editions of the David Bowie movie, The Man Who Fell to Earth, or maybe you don't have a region free player, guess what? Lionsgate is putting out a restoration, a limited collector's edition Blu-ray with a new 4K scan of The Man Who Fell to Earth, starring David Bowie, Rip Torn, Candy Clark, and Buck Henry. And that one's coming out on January 24th.
So if you're like me and got all excited and bought the UK version and spent like $45 on that, you're kicking yourself right now.
Pretty much. Thanks, Lionsgate.
I just got it in the mail and then from the UK, and I was all excited, and then like the next day I saw that announcement.
Oh,
so I'd already opened it all and looked at everything. It's a beautiful set, so yeah, it is what it is. You win some, you lose some.
Exactly. Well, I guess, should I even go into the special features? Because I'm pretty sure they're may be identical. I'm not sure. I think
they're exactly the same. We haven't really talked about it on the show at all. So it's a beautiful look. And I started watching it the other day.
Cool. Yeah, I just actually, me being a big fan of David Bowie, I mean, he's my favorite singer, period. I can't believe that I was late to the party on this one, but it did come on TV the day after he died, and it's a beautiful looking movie, that's for sure. And I just can't wait to see, a Blu-ray scan of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just glad that there's no, like, Criterion, had its release and it went out of print, and that thing's been, crazy expensive. So I'm just glad it's somewhat affordable now. And either way, it's, I got it at an affordable price.
Yeah, that is true, because the day after I saw the movie, I looked it up and the Criterion was going for like $224 on Amazon. Well, given the circumstances at the time, that kind of made sense. So sad. All right, moving right along, we've got some Scream Factory stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be news without Scream Factory stuff. And this one is actually pretty recent news. We've got details on the Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3 double feature Blu-ray. This one's coming out on January 17th. Slumber Party Massacre 2 bonus features includes the original 76-minute R-rated version and an extended 85-minute unrated cut, which is in standard definition, I might add. The R-rated version is in HD, but the unrated cut is standard. Just a warning. There's an audio commentary with writer, director, producer Deborah Brock, producer Don Daniel, and story editor Beverly Gray. Sleepless Nights, revisiting the Slumber Party Massacres. This is a 3-part documentary, plus theatrical trailer, a video trailer, and a still gallery. Now, the special features for number 3, original 75-minute R-rated version, which is HD, an extended 87-minute unrated cut. This one is in HD with standard definition inserts. Again, fair warning. Audio commentary with director Sally Madison, actress Hope Marie Carlton, Brandy Burkett, and story editor Beverly Gray, plus a theatrical trailer and still gallery. So coupled with this in the Blu-ray of the original film, yes, your Slumber Party Massacre collection will be complete very, very, very soon. And next up, a newer movie that came out and I guess has been pretty well praised, which is considering because the original film didn't get as much praise, and that's Ouija: Origin of Evil.
Yeah, I hear this
and
is really good.
Yeah, I was actually kind of stunned because, when Ouija came out and everybody I guess it just didn't really like it too much, and then this one comes out and everybody seems to like it.
Yeah, I think,
So if you didn't get a chance... Yeah, if you didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, you can get it also on January 17th. And there's a there's a featurette called Home is Where the Horror Is, another featurette called The Girl Behind Doris, and a commentary with director, co-writer, and editor Mike Flanagan.
Sweet.
So we got some pretty good ones coming out at the beginning of the year. What else have I got? Okay, Blue Underground is also releasing. Well, considering the movie, that whatever. That was me trying to be funny and falling flat on my face. So
happens to me every day.
But Blue Underground are okay. Well, Blue Underground is putting out Love Camp number 7 on Blu-ray. This one's coming out on January 31st. It's a Nazi-ploitation movie from the 70s. It's actually considered the start of the Nazi-ploitation craze of the 70s. There's a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative, Nazi-thon, Decade and Destruction. Theatrical trailer, poster and still gallery, a collectible booklet featuring the history of Nazi exploitation by Paolo Zolotti, and a reversible sleeve. Moving right along for people who are into 88 films and collect Blu-rays from that company, I got some good news for you because they're going to be putting out 1988's Dead Heat on Blu-ray. The Mark Goldblatt film starring Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo. That one's going to be available January 30th, and there's going to be some decent features on this one. It's got an audio commentary with director Mark Goldblatt, an interview with special effects artist Steve Johnson, some behind-the-scenes footage, some deleted scenes, and a theatrical trailer. So if you are looking to upgrade your old Image Entertainment DVD to Blu-ray of Dead Heat, which is a pretty amusing horror comedy, pretty amusing horror cop buddy film, I should say. This is one I remember from when I was a kid. So
yeah, it's
if you
great.
Like that, it's totally great.
I believe it's out on US Blu-ray, and it's actually pretty cheap.
Oh yeah, from Image?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
right.
what I thought.
Yeah, I think it's Image.
Right. And speaking of another film from my childhood that's getting a release, Kino Lorber has announced that it is putting out No Retreat, No Surrender on Blu-ray on February 21st. It's not only going to be the first time on Blu-ray, it's also going to be the first time on DVD, apparently. So that's going to be interesting. The special features, there's the U.S. cut, which runs at about 85 minutes. And there's also an international cut, which comes in at 94 minutes. There's an interview with star Kurt McKinney, an audio commentary by screenwriter Keith W. Strandberg, a reversible Blu-ray art, some theatrical trailers, and optional English subtitles. So, yeah, those of you looking for No Retreat, No Surrender, it's coming. And it's coming on February 21st. And next up, I guess I will keep all you people... I think I've kept all you people in suspense enough, so let's talk about new Vestron videos coming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. We've got Parents... and The Lair of the White Worm.
Yeah.
Now, Fangoria put out the special features list for Parents. It's going to have an audio commentary with director Bob Balaban and producer Bonnie Paliff. We've got an isolated score selection / audio interview with composer Jonathan Elias. 4 featurettes. Leftovers to Be with screenwriter Christopher Hawthorne. Mother's Day with actress Mary Beth Hurt. Inside Out with director of photography Robert Lingen. Vintage Tastes with decorative consultant Yolando Cuomo. Original theatrical trailer, radio spots, and a still gallery. And then we have The Lair of the White Worm. Now we've got the special features list from this. From Bloody Disgusting, we've got 2 audio commentaries, one with director Ken Russell, Lacey Russell in conversation with film historian Matthew Malia, Worm Food, The Effects of the Lair of the White Worm featurette, Cutting for Ken, an interview with editor Peter Davies, Mary, an interview with actress Sammy Davis, Trailers from Hell featuring producer Dan Ireland, theatrical trailers, and still gallery. Now, both of these are going to be available for purchase on January 31st.
We've covered both of those films on the ScreamCast in our Stream Screams segments.
Yes, and I actually, when I was a kid, I used to get The Lair of the White Worm and the Serpent and the Rainbow mixed up.
Oh, yeah, that's easy to do. Yep.
Yeah, even though they're 2 completely different movies. I mean, The Serpent and the Rainbow is pretty good, but The Lair of the White Worm is just wild. That's another one I actually saw pretty recently. Still have yet to see Parents, but now we have our chance.
It's fantastic.
Nice. Still no word on Slaughter High yet, but just be patient, guys.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I guarantee you. Like, if you have, I'm waiting for The Unholy. I really hope they release The Unholy.
Yeah, that's another relic from my video store shop.
Yeah, I got a few, because they've had a handful of these that they threw all on these horror, DVDs, and I think I have that. And the only reason I'm keeping it now is because The Unholy is on that DVD set. So if they release The Unholy in an HD glory, I'll be able to chuck this DVD aside.
Use it as a coaster.
Yeah. Because they've been blowing these out of the water, man. These Vestron video series, it's like I just ordered Chud 2, and I don't like that movie. And I just ordered it from Mike over at Grindhouse Video because they've been doing such a good job, and I want to hear the audio commentary. So it's like they're making me buy a movie.
Explain yourselves.
Well, interestingly enough, Chud 2 operates more as a Return of the Living Dead sequel. So if you kind of think of it as that, then you'll be just fine.
Interesting.
Does not operate as a Chud sequel at all. But, if you look at it on the same level as like Return of the Living Dead Part 3, just a wacky kind of one-off, I guess get past the goofy humor. I guess it could be fun. I'm going to give it one more chance, especially since I'm not paying for it. But yeah, I really want to see the special features on that one. So they're even getting me to buy a movie I don't like. I don't know. Thanks a lot.
Yep, that's money well spent. Excuse me. All right. Well, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that it's not Thanksgiving yet. Well, it is going to be Thanksgiving pretty soon. And that means Black Friday. Well, our sponsors, Vinegar Syndrome, are having a Black Friday sale, which runs from Friday, of course, November 25th through Monday, November 28th. And they've been teasing some pretty awesome stuff, or at least we hope that's pretty awesome stuff. I mean, we've already given you a taste of that the last episode when we told you about Jack Frost and its limited lenticular cover. But also, it's going to be 50% off pretty much everything on the site. It's going to be the return of the yearly package, starting with their January package, which I'll sort of get into in a moment. They're also teasing 2 secret limited edition Blu-rays and 2 limited edition vinyl soundtracks.
Damn.
And a whole bunch more, says them. This is going to be wow. But we've gotten some little teasers of what's going to come up next. They're putting out Taboo 2 and 3 on in November. This is November. What am I talking about? It's going to be up for sale. It's going to be up for sale on Black Friday weekend. But they're also going to be releasing Taboo 4 in January, and the pre-order for that one is also going to be up on the Black Friday weekend. And in addition to that, we've also got a taste of what else? Oh, yeah. Also coming out in the January package, Don't Answer the Phone.
Don't do it. Don't answer it.
Oh, yes. The ever so sleazy slasher film from 1979 starring the guy that got turned into a little piggy thingamajig in the movie Swamp Thing. So yeah, that's also gonna be up for pre-order on Black Friday weekend. But we also got a little taste of what they're going to be putting out next year, later on down the line. They've got a couple of things. They've got Psychos in Love from 1987. Kevin Tinney's Witch Trap, not to be confused with Witchboard. And also Slaughterhouse.
Yes.
So we can be expecting those in sometime in early 2017 from Vinegar Syndrome. And, of course, I'm looking forward to Slaughterhouse because, number one, that trailer is hilarious. But number two, this was the box art for this stood out in my memory, just roaming the horror section of the video store when I was a kid. I never did pick it up, but I'm really excited to, make up for lost time and get my hands on that one.
Didn't 88 Films release that?
I want to say yes, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know if they were working on it.
I think they did. I think they did. And I know it had a red case.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
it was the red case that finally jogged my memory.
Yep.
And also coming out on in the January package is a double feature of Blood Mania and Point of Terror. That's going to be, also up for pre-order on Black Friday. So I think that's everything. I mean, all of this Vinegar Syndrome stuff was scattered all over the place. So trying to keep track of all of this shit, just so I can get you guys pretty pumped up for this because there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. I'm
coming away from them this weekend.
I'm for sure gonna grab those 2 surprise Blu-rays. I mean, every time they do this, I'm pleasantly surprised. I know when I did when they did the Indiegogo or whatever for Exploitation TV, they had like a surprise Blu-ray, and that was I have yet to watch it behind, but I'm so. I think it was like The Executioners Part 2 or something like that, right?
I think so, yeah.
I still need to watch that thing. But they released it, when all the Blu-rays went out, they didn't release it on Blu-ray for anyone to buy. They released it on a DVD, like a double feature. So to jump on, on that early is great. So yeah, I mean these special feature or these special surprise ones, man. I don't know.
Apparently, one of them's a slasher film.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're just dying to tell everybody on Black Friday because apparently they've been trying to keep it a secret for a long time, and I guess they just can't wait to let that out of the bag.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, just put up a link for me just to buy them right now. I don't care what they are. Just reserve my copies, please.
Exactly. Well, it's too bad.
Awesome.
I was hoping to take advantage of the Black Friday sale, but it looks like I can't do that. So, yeah, I'll probably just have to wait till a few days afterwards to finally delve into Vinegar Syndrome product because
It's tough, man. This time of year is tough because there's all these sales. Everyone is having a sale.
Well, I'm just broke as fuck. That's my problem. I mean, it's not because I'm trying to choose between one company or the other or one thing or the other. Yeah. It's just that I won't be able to on Black Friday.
Tough.
I won't. Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, I'm going to be we're going to be basically trying to get Christmas handled for the kids. So we'll be joining you in the broke as fuck line in just a little bit for sure.
Okay, well, I guess I'll stop making people's wallets cry right now because that's all I got, Sean.
All right, man. Thank you very much, Josh.
No problem.
Talk to you next week.
Sounds good. See you guys next week.
Mama, I can't stand it anymore. Please let me stay close to you, Mama.
Oh, my poor darling. Can you forgive me for having brought you to this terrible place?
Of course, Mama. Oh, Mama. I love you so much. I need to feel you near me. I need to touch you. When I was a baby, you always used to hold me to your breast. I loved your breast so much, Mama.
Michael!
What's wrong? I'm your son.
Michael!
All right, so the first flick we're going to talk about today just came out recently on Severin, and this one was highly anticipated. A lot of people were excited that it was coming out. We'll be talking about Burial Ground. This was released on, what was the label that released this first?
Shriek Show.
Shriek Show. And they released this, and, you know, kind of a very much lackluster Blu-ray. I had got it for $5. Looked pretty crappy, but I wasn't really expecting it to be great anyway. You know what I mean? It's just for me, it was just a goofy kind of zombie flick. But, Severin restored this, or someone restored this. No, the 88 Films released this as well, right? Did they do the restoration process? So this is probably I would expect the same master that 88 Films restored, or had restored. But that's my guess.
Yeah, I mean, they both, I don't really mind the Shriek Show release. Okay. I mean, this obviously had, better special features and a better package by Severin. But yeah, I mean, it's got
a slip. It's got a slip, bro.
It's got a slip. I mean, it's
actually a slip that I keep.
Yeah, the slips. Yeah, slips are cool. But yeah, it's a new scan of I believe of the negative. I'm not 100%. I know it's a 2K scan. I mean, it looks fucking great.
It looks better than it should.
Better than it should. But I mean, it's by all means, it's way better than the Shriek Show. It's just with films like this, I don't know how much better I want certain films to look, and I'm super happy that obviously I'm going to purchase the Severin Blu-ray and throw out my Shriek Show. But at times, it's like, man, somebody's put in a lot of work into Burial Ground, the Night of Terror. But anyway.
Yeah, this was released in 1981, directed by Andrea Bianchi.
Yeah, who is kind of iconic. So it's just odd that if you let's, this is actually a good segue. I'm glad you brought his name up.
Yeah, we got to talk about the director first.
We have Andrea Bianchi, who made some very great movies. And I mean, he started off with working, kind of segging his way into What the Peeper Saw, which is a great film from the early 70s. Of course, what's his name that directed that shit? I can't think.
Well, What the Peeper Saw?
Yeah.
He directed it as Andrew White.
Right, but the other guy directed most of it.
Oh.
I can't think of his name right now. However,
I can't pull IMDb up fast enough. Sorry.
So, he definitely
James Kelly?
Yes, thank you.
There we go.
He put his work into What the Peeper Saw. Such a great movie released by VCI recently this year. He had Strip Nude for Your Killer. He had that movie about, was it whores? Yeah, the seduction of the... God, I need to start drinking before the show. Because if I drink...
Seduction of Angela?
No. It's not that.
I don't want to just start listing off names. Exciting Love Girls?
It's got a weird name. It's like Mamba.
Mala Bimba.
Yeah, it's like Mala Bimba, the malicious whore or something like that. But anyway, I mean, I believe he did that. I think he did that before Burial Ground. But here and there.
Go to the fridge, get yourself a cider, and come back.
He's made some great films, and he's an accomplished filmmaker. And then he fucking makes Burial Ground, which obviously we love. I love Burial Ground. I watched this, like, when I was younger, my mom would buy me VHS lots. Like, we would go on eBay, and I would be like, hey, here's some of my allowance. And she would, like, buy, like, $75, like, 300 tapes at the time because, they were cheap at the time, that box lots. And we would get films like this. And every Thursday, basically, we would watch a bunch of films together. And throughout the week, she would come into my room after, my dad would go to bed. My dad went to bed early, and we would watch, like, a horror film a night. Great moments with my mom. Actually watched this with her, and she was, there's a lot of moments I remember watching films with my mom, and I mentioned one, Don't Go Into the Woods, where it was the first time, I realized you can laugh at a movie and have fun because my mom was cracking up and making fun of it. Well, Burial Ground, she kept on, like, kind of getting weirded out because of Peter Bark.
Yeah,
like, just a weird fucking character.
Michael.
And it's a tit-biting scene, and she's like, oh, God, what is going on? That's his mom. And she's like, why does this movie have incest? But just really funny moments. But, he's made all these films, and then he makes Burial Ground, which is a blatant ripoff. A lot of scenes ripped off from fucking Zombie.
Yeah, yeah, it is basically, what young couples go to this vacation type spot, I don't know, and the dead start rising from the grave. Basically, right? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, they're celebrating.
It's like a big old estate,
right? And the zombie just start attacking them. But there's like a lot of sequences, like the iconic scenes in Zombie, not just like plot devices. Mm-hmm. He stole iconic scenes from Zombie and just stuck them in his movie. And I know this is very prominent, and this happens all the time
with Italian directors.
With Italian directors, yeah. But. And I guess it happens with the popular Italian directors too. So I guess kind of negates what I'm saying about Andrea Bianchi. It just seems odd. Like people might like, oh, he's a goofy director, made Strip Nude for Your Killer, but he's made some great movies in my opinion. Some hard hitting films.
Yeah, nothing quite as goofy as this thing.
Well,
maybe
a lot of Italian cinema is goofy.
Look, I haven't seen
to us because it's kind of a lost in translation thing. I always say where like Manhattan Baby, where we laugh, but this thing is apparently supposed to be pretty serious. But I think it all comes from kind of the dubbing that we had to deal with and stuff like that made the movies a little bit more goofy. But Burial Ground just seems completely out of place for him at that time. Now, I haven't watched a ton of his films, like after he made this, because a lot of them just aren't available over here. But I've seen, probably roughly about 10 films of this director, and this is the only one that kind of feels completely out of place for me. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because of the blatant ripoff, because zombie films were ripped off from everybody, from, the Americans making them, from even the Italians ripping off the Italians, of these films. But I thought it was weird, because some things would use soundtracks, some people would use kind of characters, some would even use scenes of the movie in their movie. Like fucking Cruel Jaws, like uses fucking scenes from like Jaws and Jaws 2 and shit like that, or Jaws 2 and 3. But like he has the Splinter scene, that what's her name, Maria Paola, who gets the fucking eyeball gouge scene. They have that.
I feel like that happens. I've seen that happen a lot in these films. Everyone goes to the eye gouge.
Yeah, the eye gouge, but this is very similar to the Splinter stab in fucking Zombie, and also when the zombies rise. The zombies standing there, even they look the same. But just all in all, just a really goofy movie.
Doesn't he have a zombie in there with like the maggots and stuff coming out of his side?
Yeah, no, he does. It's kind of in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But even though all that said, there's something so charming about this movie. And I know Peter Michael, plays a big portion of it because he's just such an odd person. I'm trying to decide, is this a kid?
Yeah.
Or is this like a 50-year-old man?
I watched this on the day of whenever the time changed, daylight savings time. And so I was up early anyway. So it's like when it first shows him like, his eyes wide open, I had to take a picture of that and tweet that out, waking up on daylight savings.
Oh yeah, no, it's
his eyes are ridiculous.
Yeah, no, he's got this very and I believe he is older.
Yeah, he had like a genetic disorder that made him.
Did they talk about
younger.
that in the because I didn't watch any special features. Did they talk about Peter still lives? Oh, Q&A with actor. Oh man, I can't shit. Damn it! I should have watched that.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Well, anyways, just to let people know, like there's
a Q&A with
him. Does this have, because on the old Shriek Show Blu-ray, they had an interview with the director and the mother.
Well, there's Simone, yeah.
Did they transfer that over?
I don't see an interview with the director. I see an interview with Simone Mattioli.
Oh, well, there's a long...
And a producer and an actor. Producer, Gabriel...
that's a shame. You might want to keep your Shriek Show, because the interview is actually kind of good. But anyways, yeah, Peter Still Lives, a festival Q&A with Peter Bark. It's interesting, but even watching this as a little, I was trying to decide, like, my mom was like, I remember her saying, it's like, how old is this guy? And how old is this kid? And, Peter Bark turns out to be, fucking, 30 years old or some shit. And he bites tits.
I don't think they would let a kid go that far.
That's what I wanted
there's
to be,
rules.
is I wanted to be him. But it's not even the tit biting scene, which is obviously what a lot of the movie's known for, is just that one scene where he bites his mom's breast. But there's this very weird, incestuous relationship, between the mom and like the mom's getting banged down, and the kid's like, "Oh, mom, what's going on? Let me see you."
Yeah.
And she's like kind of stripping down in front of her son and shit. And I'm like, this movie's crazy. It's just so off the wall. But like I said, there's just something so charming about the film that you just, you don't want to look away. You're engaged in the entire film. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's funny. It's gory. It has some weird themes. It has a big incest theme that's super odd. But it also is like, you just can't help but laugh and have a good time with it, which is weird to say.
Yeah, I had a lot more fun with this than I did with Dr. Butcher MD, and I kind of like, what? I kind of, always kind of thought of these together, like whenever I don't know if it was the cover of Zombie Holocaust and then the cover of Burial Ground, the Shriek Show cover of Burial Ground, seeing those two together, I always kind of lumped them together.
I could see that.
But
it's Italian zombie cinema.
Yeah. But this has like I don't know. There's something a little more odd about it, and I had more fun with Burial Ground. I still, Dr. Butcher MD is still on the list of enjoyable, batshit crazy Italian.
Which is funny that you mentioned that again, because
zombie flicks.
Because the fucking Dr. Butcher MD is filmed in the same area as Zombie.
Yeah, no, they're all like
has some of the same sets.
Yeah, they all owe Zombie a hell of a lot, but then Zombie owes Romero a lot. You know what I mean? It's just funny how all of these kind of owe each other, and
that's why I said it's like one big fucking incest family.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's the point the director was trying to do. He was making a commentary on the incestuous relationship with Italian directors and George Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
I'm really liking this right now. I like this. I like where you're going.
I think that's it. I think there's a message. Burial Ground is a message movie.
This is where I just start getting boners. And this isn't like my big fear boner thing, or I just get a boner.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome. What's funny is this kind of opens up as it's very, it's almost like they've had a few porno scripts laying around. They just decided to throw those scenes into here and then, turn it into the zombie film. That's what it kind of felt like as well. Or a slasher, like, young couples they all meet up, they're at their destination, they all get a little frisky, then bad shit starts happening. There's a little bit of that element in there too.
Yeah, there's also tit biting.
And have we mentioned there's tit biting?
It's my favorite part of the movie. The whole movie is just leading up to, biting some tits.
Yeah. I mean, that's like we've said, this is the most notorious scene. But, anyway, a lot of fun. Severin knocked this one out of the park. If you're a fan of slipcovers, this one actually has different artwork than the actual Blu-ray, which is great. That's what a slipcover should do, and Severin gets it right. They did that with the David Franco flicks, where they had cool slipcovers with those. So I'm not anti-slipcover like some people have said.
The art is really fucking good too.
Yeah. Who's the artist on this?
I don't know, but they did a really good fucking job.
Let me look. Wes Boscoter. Probably pronounced that wrong. He signed it very legible. Like, God damn it, I'm really happy about this. I'm going to make sure my name is super legible right on the cover.
I like
Hire me. But yeah, this thing's great, man. Very happy of the films that Severin has picked up, and they have some other ones on the way. They released that documentary. Oh shit, what's it called? Murder in America, is that right? Where's that?
Killing
in America. I need to watch that. I'm gonna watch that and report back next show, because Severin has some really badass stuff coming out, and that I really wanted to start highlighting more. But Burial Ground, I think, is a full-on recommendation from us.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you haven't, I know that there's probably a lot of people that aren't the biggest fans of Italian cinema. Just through kind of its history, but I really think there's a lot in this one to
this is one of the enjoyable ones. Yeah, there's a lot here. If you're a fan of batshit, movies, there's a ton to enjoy in Burial Ground for sure. It's not like a serious great film, but goddamn, it's entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
And you said that there's an interview that's on the Shriek show that's not on here, huh?
From the looks of it, I mean, I haven't dug into the special features because I basically called myself out on it. There's an interview with the lady that plays the mother and the director, and it's actually pretty good because they know at that point their film is like this cult classic, and they just kind of talk about it, so it's pretty cool. But cool. Anyways,
Rick, I'm trying to see who the actress was. Who was the mother? Oh, Evelyn, right? Anyway, because there's an interview with Mariangela Giordano, who played Evelyn. That's who is the mom. So maybe it might be that. And it's with the producer, not with the director. So I don't know. Oh. Double check your shit.
I need you to relax.
I'm relaxed. All right. Moving along. Let's jump into some stream screams.
Oh, yeah.
Nate, wake up!
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
Don't fucking scream at me!
If you scream, I'll break your neck.
Don't scream, miss. Don't scream.
All right, well, this is kind of perfect timing for this because, Thanksgiving, by the time you guys listen to this, Thanksgiving will be upon us. By the time this gets into your guys' podcast feeds, you'll either be on Thanksgiving, ignoring your family and listening to our podcast, which I don't recommend. Go spend some time with your family. Or you're listening to the weekend after Thanksgiving. And and all of us around this time, we all start trying to find the Christmas horror films that we, watch every year or trying to find some new ones. I'm always on the lookout for at least a couple I haven't seen. And I'd always heard people talk about 2007's P2.
Angela, are you okay? I didn't mean to scare you.
What happened to my clothes?
Yeah.
What do you want?
I've seen you drive out of here so many times. It's strange being with you. It's great, actually.
And when it first came out, I kind of ignored this thing. I was like, oh, it's just a stupid slasher. And just like a girl and a guy. What kind of movie is that? And
is this your first time seeing it?
This was my first time seeing it, man.
Oh.
I'd always avoided it because I was always like, oh, that's stupid. It looked stupid.
But yet you spent $14 on Tarzan and liked Independence Day.
Yeah.
Got it. Go ahead.
I'm a very complicated person, Brad.
Trust me, after almost 3 years, I know.
But this is a solid horror thriller with some surprising gore in this thing. You can tell that Alexander Aja had a little bit of,
well, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is what's his name? The director is what? Calhoun and Aja, and then
Calhoun.
One of the other producers. I mean, these guys worked on, The Hills Have Eyes together. They worked on Maniac. I mean, this is the director of Maniac. Visually, he's a great director when he has Aja behind him.
Yeah.
They all really work well off one another.
This is a simple little, small cast. I mean, there's a handful of people here in the credits, but I mean, it's basically Wes Bentley playing the security guard and then Rachel Nichols, and locked in a parking garage on Christmas Eve or the week of Christmas.
During Christmas.
And it's a cat and mouse, type thriller. And, it's like Wes Bentley's the perfect actor to kind of play this,
he's
nice guy
great.
turned
he's a little
madman.
Underrated. He's a little underrated too,
Because at first you're like, oh, this guy's he's just a little bit off. He's a little creepy. I mean, he's a little rapey, in a sense. But I mean, you kind of like, well, maybe he's not as bad. Maybe he's just misunderstood. And as things progress, you realize,
sure you know, it's a rapey killer.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the kind of cat, like, I really got into it once the cat and mouse game kind of started, where she's, you know, trying to get away from him, trying to get out of this parking garage. I mean, the lead up all the way to these moments is pretty great. Like, it doesn't rush into things, you know, like a lot of movies want to just rush into all the gore and the suspense. Like, it actually, it builds character. You really get to kind of like Angela, which is Rachel Nichols' character. You get a sense to, you know, her job and the things she's dealt with in her job with people, with other men in her office, her relationship with her family that she's trying to go see, and it does a really good job through many moments, like of you to actually get to know her. And like other movies have tried this, like The Shallows tried this, but it failed, I thought.
Ooh.
Using those extra family moments and phone calls to try to build character. Like,
it just failed all the way.
The Shallows failed, like, as far as that went. And but this, like, gets it right. Like, you actually you feel for the situation she's in. Like, I mean, how many times have you can kind of relate, like, you're being stranded somewhere you don't want to be, and you're supposed to meet your family or friends somewhere else, and you're just stuck. You know, like, that moment really, they really hit it with this film. Like, I was surprised, like, how much I really dug the film, and I was on the edge of my seat, like, as the film progressed. Like, I was really interested to see, like, you know, where this would go, and the brief moments of violence, man, they go nuts.
Well, I think this is a film that I saw, I think, during its release, and I didn't go apeshit over it. I just kind of did a shrug. But this is, like, I think my third or fourth time watching it, and I do enjoy it a lot more because I look at different aspects of it. Like, I love the sense of isolation and, you know, kind of the atmosphere the film's in. It is very, you know, it follows a very basic formula.
Yeah.
However, with the atmosphere that is surrounding it and Wes Bentley's performance, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's a little over the top." No, I just felt like he was a total, complete fucking psycho. Like,
I'm surprised he's kept his job as long as he has.
Yeah, I don't look at it as, you know, him, like, you know, being some weirdo. I just look at it as like, man, this guy's, you know, obviously a decent actor and, like, you know, really knows how to be creepy, but also, you know, kind of charming at the same time in a way. Like, he, like you said, he's kind of like maybe misunderstood. But he's just a fucking psycho.
When you first meet him, you're like, oh, because I went to this movie knowing nothing. Like, I you know, and I was just like, well, you know, I'm always weird. Like, I don't want to get into, you know, any too deep on anything in case there's people who haven't listened. But I mean, you know, you want to you kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt when you first meet him, you know.
Right.
And yeah, he plays it off so well. At least for a while, you're kind of maybe guessing, but they let you know pretty quick.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, you know, you obviously know where the movie's going to go. It's only them. You know, it's just, like I said, it's just the way it's presented is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So definitely watch it. I mean, if you're a fan of Aja and, you know, Calhoun, who's done, you know, a handful of decent films. Well, I guess he made a movie called, like, I Live or something like that. And it wasn't that great. I never watched that.
The director?
Yeah, I never watched that Cuba Gooding Jr. film that he made. But I think he's doing the new Amityville movie. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how that kind of turns out. I love the Amityville story, so I'm excited to, you know, see that on the big screen again. But yeah, I think both of those guys are, you know, well, the trio, they're, you know, they work well off one another. They do a great job, so I'm kind of excited to see what they see. Because I love Maniac. and I love the atmosphere that Maniac has, the hardcore gore it has. So after actually Maniac came out, I've seen P2 twice, and I enjoy it more. I think after watching Maniac, because I can see kind of the stuff that they were kind of going for with P2.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's cool. Like it's funny because like at first I thought when I saw the trailer, or whatever, that they were being kind of exploitive, like with her like wearing the dress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but as I watched it, it kind of I got the context of why she's wearing that low cut dress and everything. But at first, I thought it was just going to be some stupid, exploitive type slasher, basically. And that from the poster, from the trailer, that's kind of what I guess expected, and that's why I never really, gave it a shot. I just thought it was just going to be a stupid slasher, but yeah, it's more than that, man. It's very tense. It's very, I wouldn't say it's like, it's not very Hitchcockian. It kind of sort of is.
It's just
but it's just a simple setup.
Yeah, it's a simple setup with a decent execution.
This came out on HD DVD.
Yeah.
Back when all that was going down. It never came out on US Blu-ray. I believe it is on a couple, like the UK Blu-ray is out of print, so super expensive. And I think that there is either Italian or Spanish Blu-ray that is available on. But I found because I really wanted to watch it, but I did find it on Vudu, Vudu.com.
For $7.99.
Yeah, super cheap, and it's HD. It looks great.
And you can also watch it free with ads.
Oh shit! There you go.
If you that's one of their free with ads movies.
Oh, nice.
So there you go. It's free. You have no complaints.
Yeah, definitely give it a watch. Especially add it to your Christmas horror viewing list. I doubt you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
So good stuff, man. All right, moving along. Let's jump into our man. We haven't done this in a while. VHS. Oh my god.
Vicky. Well, here we are at last. Right where we ought to be. Video. Oh my god!
Today, for this segment, we are talking about 1991's Street Soldiers. Now, this is one of the films that I was going to mention on the my Splathouse segment, but because I threw a bunch of bullshit in there...
Splatcast.
Yeah, I'm never going to live that down. But because I tried to get all crazy and technical and add, fun clips and stuff like that into my segment, it got cut. But this was directed by Lee Harry. He directed Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Garbage Day. Which explains a lot. So.
Yeah. This is the thing that caught me when I was kind of going through and finding movies that I would talk about and recommend. This was one I hadn't seen, and I played the trailer and I saw that, I love late 80s, early 90s street gangs and how they're portrayed. And I don't know if this goes back all the way. I remember in the late 80s in one of the Transformers cartoons, there was a New York one where it was in New York, and there was one of the Transformers was a breakdancer, he was into breakdancing. There's breakdancing gangs and stuff like that. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but I've always liked that dynamic, right, of the late 80s, early 90s, like street gang stuff. Kind of over the top outfits, you know what I mean? Just a little bit too much going on with their outfits. So I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen this. This looks right up my alley. Just goofy action flick. And I saw that it was directed by Lee Harry, who had directed by Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. So I was like, I better check this out. So I watched it, and then, Brad, I let you know that we should do this for the VHS Oh My God segment.
I thought we agreed there would be no violence while I was away. We agreed that Random Acts could splinter our little group and make it seem as as if no one was in control. And we all know who's in control. Don't we?
Chris, what the hell are you doing here?
Thanks, Spider. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, and this was a first time for me, so I didn't know really what to expect.
I can't believe you hadn't
never
seen
even heard of it.
Oh my
I've
god!
never even heard of it.
So basically, this leader of a gang gets out of prison. He learns that his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, digs a guy who's in a rival gang, and shit goes down.
It's kind of like a cheap ass Warriors in a way.
Yeah.
It's just we have the character, of course, Priest, who is 100% over the top.
He's
absolutely ridiculous.
He's talking like this the whole movie.
Yeah, dude, this guy had probably fucking sore throat all the fucking time. But such a great, great lead villain. Over the top dialogue. There's one sequence where he has the girl and he's holding her by her throat and he says, "I hope you have Blue Cross, bitch." And I'm like, wait a second. What? Are you gonna hurt her? Priest, relax. But, I mean, he's just so over the top because, as soon as he, gets out of prison, they hand him, brass knuckles and a knife. He's like, let's go get these motherfuckers.
Isn't that when he gives the guy, one of his little henchmen, a gift of a cobra?
Yeah, and
the fake cobra?
Well, here's the thing, is that, yes, obviously it's fake. But I thought it was a fake cobra in the movie. I thought, obviously it's a fake cobra because they're gonna hold real cobra to their face. But I was like, oh,
but maybe that's the guy's deal. Maybe it really was a fake cobra.
Because when he opens up the box, it pops up like one of those gag snake gifts. You ever have one of those things where you pull open a box and the fake snake comes out and gets you, and you open it up, and I was like, oh, this guy has a sense of humor. But no, that's supposed to be a real snake.
It's supposed to be a real snake.
And I didn't get that until kind of the end of the movie.
When he tries to use it as a weapon, basically.
Yeah, and the fucking snake, he just chops it in half and it fucking dies. And I'm like, oh my god, I had no idea that was supposed to be a real snake. I thought it was just kind of a gag. But it was 100% for reals.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I liked it because it's one of those, action movies that's just so silly and charming, and you just have a really good time with it. It's almost one of those things that the more you watch it, the more you have fun with it, because then you can kind of pick up on all kind of the goofy shit they do. There's one part where they're running from the rival gang that Priest is running, and they're kind of out in the middle of the street, and they're running up these stairs to a bridge. And so the gang's rushing up after these three guys, and for some reason there's just a really tall cardboard box in the corner of the steps, and they throw that cardboard box down the steps, and it just hits all the bad guys. And these bad guys are falling backwards, they're falling down the steps, and it's literally just an empty box that's no bigger than probably taller than their waist.
Yeah.
But this thing is knocking people down, man. But it's just goofy shit like that. It just makes me laugh, and I can really have fun with films like this.
Oh yeah, isn't the gang, the Tigers, aren't they supposed to be in high school, or at least
because they call them
school?
Schoolies.
Yeah. Because the whole point is you're
getting hassled by a bunch of schoolies.
Because he's taking this guy's ex-girlfriend to the dance.
To play Batman.
I know.
The guy that plays Priest would have been a good Batman, but he's like, hey, they're on our turf.
Yeah.
You're getting schooled by a bunch of schoolies out there. I'm going to show them who's boss. They got my bitch.
And it's dude, Batman. Dude, see, right now I can barely talk.
You're hurting my throat just thinking about it. Just hearing you is I'm like,
Priest probably never worked again because he probably became, he couldn't speak.
He did a lot of TV. It looks like a lot of just bad TV. He was in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh my God.
He's in a movie called Bermuda Tentacles from 2014.
That sounds amazing.
I guarantee that was
I hope that he
sci-fi.
But I'm hoping that he plays Priest in every movie.
He's in a movie called Roach. There's exclamation points after and exclamation points after Roach.
Ever do that again.
There's a movie called Selfie Shootout, and the S in selfie is a dollar sign.
Can we not talk about Priest's character filmography? I thought it was a good pick. If you can track it down, it's only been released on VHS, of course, because that's what the segment's based off of. But if you have your higher powers and special magic, you're able to find this certain ways.
You can find it pretty easily.
Yeah, I would highly suggest it. Grab some friends, say, hey, you want to watch something goofy? And watch this, and you will have a good time, no doubt. Like
I wish
it's a good buddy movie.
Yeah, this is a movie that I would have. I mean, I haven't done this in a while just because I don't have those close circle of friends around here. Because we used to rent It was Bad Movie Fridays. We would go out and just rent the stupidest shit we can find and just have drinks and have a blast. Like, I wish I would have found that back then when I was doing that, because we would have had this would have ended up in the pantheon of fun movie nights. Like, we would have had a blast with this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a crappy early 90s martial arts.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in saying bad or crappy.
I mean, crappy in the most. I mean,
no.
I love. Well, I always say I love crappy.
Either you like a movie or you
action
don't.
Flicks.
But either you like a movie or you don't.
Yeah.
So I can't go ahead and say something that this movie is crappy by any means, because this is better than most of the pieces of shit that I watch.
I will say this is better than Independence Day Resurgence. I'll give it that.
Well, of course, it's a really fun and great movie.
Yeah,
it's better than your average film that you're watching. Like, it may not be well made in that sense, but it has a lot of charm. It has a lot of great moments. Yeah. Like, I don't know what more you want in a movie than that. Like, when I watch a movie, I want, a story, of course, which there's that. I want likable characters, which we have a likable villain. We have a likable antagonist and we have a likable protagonist. We have we have a decent soundtrack.
Oh yeah, man!
Fucking soundtrack to the movie is glorious,
dude. When they're in the mall in the clothing store, the song that's playing is bumping.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great songs in the film. It's competent in the way it's shot. It's a great time. You laugh a lot. So what more do you want?
I don't know, man.
There's not much more that you want in a film, and it has it all. So that's why I'm a firm believer, is if you like a movie, no matter what the budget is or how goofy people say it is, like, if that's your jam, then I consider that a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way, shape, or form I'm going to say Street Soldiers is a crappy movie in the sense of, like, oh, so crappy it's good, because then that doesn't appeal to me.
Right, and that's not how I mean it.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but I'm saying to the audience,
right.
Like, I don't believe in so bad it's good, because it's not bad if you like it. Like, you don't eat food and say, oh man, this is so fucking awful, it's so good. Like, that's how
There's a few YouTube channels that they do that just for clicks, but
Oh, but I don't look at it that way. There's nothing else you'd be like, oh man, this car is so fucking awful. It's great. Like nothing else you'd say that. And I understand the term.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I don't understand. I understand it, but also at the same time, I'm like, I like something.
Yeah, no, I
love Street Soldiers.
I like movies like this. That's the thing. Like other people may think it's a complete piece of crap, but I genuinely like find enjoyment out of this. Even the quote unquote bad moments, if it makes me laugh and I can see that, and it's not like they're just incompetent. It's just you can tell there's a fine line, and I always try to like. My wife is always like trying to understand like how a movie could be bad, but I still like it. You know what I mean? Like there's like a fine line. Like if you can tell, like,
but it's not bad.
Well, in her mind, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm watching a movie. I'm like, this movie's amazing, and she's like, this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen. How can you say it's amazing? But if it's a fine line. Maybe
she's just not seeing the charm in it.
She's not. There's a straight up bad movie where everyone's lazy, everyone's just trying to get it done, and there's no inspiration, you know what I mean, to it. But then there's the movies that, they may not have all the deck may be stacked against them in this film, like budget or acting talent, but you can tell that they were in the making of the film enthusiastic and believed in what they were doing and having, you know what I mean, like giving it their all. Like these aren't half-assed like fight scenes. Like you can tell, like they actually were doing choreography. They actually, I don't know. There's a special charm to the film that I like.
Yeah, no, I mean,
so that's why I like these movies that could be considered like just a crappy flick. Like, no, there's a fine line between crappy and enjoyable in that sense. But have you seen? I know one of the actors in this, June Kim. He was in Silent Assassins and L.A. Street Fighters. Have you seen those?
I've seen L.A. Street Fighters. I have that, but Silent Assassins, I'm not. I don't recall.
I mean, the poster looks amazing.
But that doesn't mean that I haven't seen it.
It's a guy and a gal.
A lot of those movies run together for me.
Well, it's your basic action flick like poster, a guy and a gal in the forefront holding guns, but there's silhouettes of ninjas in back of them.
Oh, shit.
I may need to track this one down.
You know what that means? Fucking ninjas.
Hell yes. All right, well, that was Street Soldiers. Check it out. Find it. You'll have a good time. Grab some flicks and some friends, and
beers.
And you're welcome.
You might want some beers too.
Oh yeah, definitely. PBR if you got it. These types of movies, I feel like you just need to drink crappy beer and just really let it all sink in.
Let it really sink in. I like it.
I don't know. I was watching, oh gosh, what movie is that? It's a New Year's flick with Chuck Norris. Oh god, or it could be a Christmas flick. Damn it.
Whoa, Christmas with Chuck Norris?
Yeah, I think it's more New Year's, but he rescues everyone, and of course, as they're getting on the plane after he rescues everyone, they're like throwing Bud Lights or Budweisers all around to everyone in the plane.
Yeah, they're
celebrating with Budweiser. Oh, Invasion USA. Of course. They're gonna have
I haven't seen
Budweiser. Dude, Invasion USA.
That makes sense.
Makes
awesome.
sense
it's Budweiser.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's podcast, man.
I had a great time.
We didn't do a 3-hour friggin' gag your ears with, crazy talk.
Hey, I think people would still love it.
I think so, too. We want to thank all of you guys for listening. Like we said earlier, if you want to support the show, buy some enamel pins, throw us a tip via PayPal on the donate link over at thescreamcast.com, or just support our sponsors, Coffee Shop of Horrors, Grindhouse Video, who by the time you hear this, you may only have like a day or two left in his Arrow sale. Jump on that before you lose your chance. And all of our other sponsors, of course, Vinegar Syndrome, and I'm waiting for the internet to load. Damn you.
Well, Coffee Shop of Horrors, Grindhouse Video, Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah. And of course, music by Wolfmen of Mars. Buy all their music. They have a new album out. They've been releasing music like crazy this year. Have you noticed that? I feel like they've released like 3 albums.
Yeah.
I mean, they may
need to relax.
Settle down. I'm trying to find their newest one right now. The Witch, the Goat, and the Malevolent Spirit.
Ooh.
I think that's the newest one. Or is Warp Suburbium their newest one? I can't keep up. I think Warp Suburbium actually is their newest. I don't know. They got a bunch of shit over their Bandcamp, wolfmenofmars.bandcamp.com. Also, art by Kevin Spencer. Check out his stuff. All this is available over at thescreamcast.com/sponsors. You can find all of our social media links over there as well. And hope you guys all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. We have some special treats in store for you in December. We're gonna do a mega Vinegar Syndrome episode, and we got to do our end of year picks before the year ends.
Oh yeah!
So that's what we got on the table for December. We'll talk to all of you guys next time. Bye bye.
See ya.
Oh, don't tell me you're leaving. The party's just begun.